Up next, guys, we are going to check in with I almost said mega, but she's not even really mega anymore. She's just like tinfoil hat, right wing kind of YouTube star Candace Owens, who, of course, was very good close friends with Charlie Kirk, who was brutally murdered and assassinated. And she's crashing out. She's spreading insane conspiracies about his death. And she's finally starting to get caught in some of these lies and in some of these contradictions in a way that should be, I think, discrediting. But unfortunately, millions and millions are still tuning into her. She still has one of the top podcasts in America. And she's spreading some really remarkably disingenuous analysis and speculation. First, though, and a couple of the clips I'm going to show you are from somebody named Milk Bar TV, who is an anti-Candace Owens critic, but has made compilations just of clips of her next to other clips of her contradicting herself. It's all, none of it's fake. It's all sourced directly from her podcast episodes. Anyway, this is just funny to me. This one, we'll get into the substantive errors Candace is making and the false information she's spreading to millions. But first, I just want to play this for you because Candace is on record and kind of made her brand originally with the like, facts don't care about your feelings mentality, which, I mean, when it comes to logic is true, though feelings are important. But a lot of her conspiracy theories about Charlie's death just come off to it, in her words, feeling weird. And she doesn't seem to see how that's like contradictory with the logical approach she took earlier in her career. Listen to this dichotomy of Candace before and then now.
I could be incorrect. A feeling is not a fact. Everything just spiritually feels very wrong here. Yeah. It feels like we are being lied to by who? I'm not sure. We watched Charlie get shot in the throat. That feels a little bit symbolic. It feels like they wanted us to know that his voice was problematic. That, again, to me, feels like he's a decoy. Like more people are involved in this, and I will say that. We don't know, but we know that something's wrong with this. Because if I don't feel good, this feels to me like a conspiracy. It feels a little fake and gay. Gotta tell you guys, it feels a little fake and gay.
I do find the line that she uses genuinely funny, like comical, which is like fake and gay. I mean, it's kind of camp. It's funny you see TikTokers using it now. I'm not offended by it, whatever. But it is just interesting. For the facts don't care about your feelings, lady, right? That was something she used to say all the time. So much of the conspiracy around Charlie Kirk's death and other things, many other things, just because it feels wrong to her. It doesn't feel right. There is a big contradiction there. And when you're making, I always come back to this, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And Candace does not have extraordinary evidence. She has things she extrapolates, theories, and then cherry-picked and distorted details out of context and leaving out crucial information. And then she connects it all with feelings. It feels true. A great example of this is how Candace has handled the debate over the Charlie Kirk letter to Bibi Netanyahu, the leader of Israel. Now, Candace, because she is spreading simultaneously the idea that maybe Israel killed Charlie, that maybe it was an inside job at TPUSA, because they were worried that he was going to go against Israel and they were going to lose all this pro-Israel money, all this stuff that really is incredibly far-fetched. She claimed, when people pointed out that right before his death, or a little bit before his death, Charlie had written a letter to Bibi Netanyahu professing his love for Israel, but offering some constructive criticism about how they could better defend Israel and have a better kind of, he called it the information war. She publicly said that Bibi Netanyahu was lying about the letter being pro-Israel, being a love letter to Israel, and to release the full letter. She thus acknowledged the letter was real and that the parts of it that Bibi Netanyahu was citing was true. Now they've released the whole letter. It was, in fact, constructive criticism, but Charlie repeatedly said how much he loves Israel and wants Israel to win. But now she's denying it. So here's the before and after from Candace, also compiled by Milk Bar TV.
Towards the end, Charlie was just authoring love letters to Israel, giving them a perspective of here's how we can win. here's what you guys need to do. You need to work with this Hillel, whatever it is. Yeah, the same people that are calling me anti-Semitic, you need to work with those people harder. And he was just putting it on paper. Was it an email? What was that they were sharing on the New York Post, the Israeli Post? First and foremost.
Yeah, so that's Candace suggesting that this letter is fake. Now we're going to flash back to Candace previously acknowledging that the quotes in the letter are real, but just calling for the whole thing to be released because apparently she'd seen it all and believed it. But now it's fake now that it has been released.
First and foremost, that letter he is holding up, he is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real. I'm saying you're severely misrepresenting the contents. Word of his deep love for Israel to a letter to Netanyahu. We're supposed to believe, did he send that as an email, by the way? Can somebody clarify, was that an email they were sharing? Or did he send it in the mail to him? Could somebody share that? And you're doubling down on your lie. I told you to publish the full letter that Charlie wrote you, not lines of it. Okay? It's a lie by omission. He lied about the contents of a letter that Charlie Kirk had written him. I'm assuming it was an email. Can someone share the timestamp on that? Just kind of like authenticate that email, because I'm very aware of what's going on. Okay. And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night.
Honestly, I don't know how Candace sleeps at night. Well, I do, because I think she's a true believer. I think she believes this stuff. I don't think she's like a grifter in the lying sense where, you know, she plays a character on TV. I think she truly believes this and has drank the Kool-Aid and convinced herself that only she can see the truth. But it's just so interesting how she shifts the goalposts. Because originally, when Bibi Netanyahu, of whom I'm no fan, by the way, made the claim that Charlie had written a love letter to Israel and drew out specific quotes of things that he said, she said, yeah, those quotes are real. Yeah, he wrote a letter, but release the full letter. And then they released the full letter with those exact quotes in it. It was verified by people very close to Charlie, including his producer and one of his best friends, that yes, that's real. The letter is correct. It's all fake now. It was real before. Now it's fake. I mean, any evidence that contradicts the conspiracy she's decided upon is fake and gay. Any speculative evidence that can possibly be felt to be in supportive of the thing she thinks is true is real and valid. And then also there's just a remarkable sloppiness to the investigative work that she does. Because Candace is very entertaining, very charismatic, and very gifted. But what she is not is some sort of thorough investigative reporter and analyst. And so one of the big arguments of this whole conspiracy she's pushing, that the whole thing, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, the local police, the state authorities, the federal government, all conspired to frame this guy. She thinks that the text messages between Tyler Robinson and the romantic partner are all fake. All three levels of government, dozens of people colluded to write fake messages. Part of her evidence for that is that he used words that don't sound like how normal people talk. For example, vehicle and retrieve are words that he used in the text. And she said on her show that like normal people don't text like that. That's fake. That sounds like police writing fake texts. Now, the remarkable thing about that is that, one, what's more likely, this grand conspiracy faking texts, or that an extremely weird dude who was into like furries and online circles wrote in a strange way to his trans-identifying lover? To me, the latter is much more likely than the former. But the funny thing is, there's actually police footage from, I think, a pullover where Tyler Robinson uses the word vehicle. So like this word that he totally wouldn't say because people don't use that word. They just say car. And Candace left that footage out in her show, specifically omitted it, and used this footage of him actually apparently not saying it as proof that he doesn't talk like that. This is a remarkable clip. Take a look at this, also from Milk Bar TV.
There's old footage of Tyler Robinson that is now circulating from a car accident that he had. And during the discussion with the officer that showed up, Tyler certainly refers to it as his car, not his vehicle, because that's how most Americans, how most English speakers refer to a car, unless they're in the military or on the police force. So here is 2022 police body cam footage, in case you missed that, of Tyler making a crash report. Take a listen.
Your mom's on her way?
Yeah, she's gonna be a minute. She's gotta shuttle over from where she's at to her car and then drive over.
Gotcha.
His mother was going to shuttle over from her car? Interesting.
Yeah, I was looking.
So here's the thing you need to know. Again, she's suggesting that the text where he refers to his vehicle must be fake and must have been written by cops or by the military or something, because in the text he says vehicle instead of car. And her evidence for this is that she found a clip of him once referring to a car. Now, that would not actually prove anything. I have used the word vehicle at some times in my life, but I more commonly say car. And if you had text from me where I said, oh, our rental vehicle, right? And then you found footage of me later talking about my car, that wouldn't disprove that I once used the word vehicle. It doesn't even make sense. But what was so sloppy and so remarkable about this particular bit is that Candace left out more footage, either through just incompetence or deceit. She left out more footage from that same body cam footage where he says the word vehicle. Watch this, also, again, from Milk Bar.
Yeah, I was looking up at the light just before getting there.
Okay.
I saw it shift yellow. And as I get into the intersection, he bolts. There was a vehicle in the lane.
There you go. His vehicle. Her whole conspiracy about the text being fake because the word vehicle is debunked by the footage she selectively did not play for her audience. Wow. Again, here she is talking about how it must be fake because he says vehicle on September 18th.
That's something that you say. I'm just going to go outside to my vehicle. I left something in my vehicle. Apparently, they just shoot the breeze with one another and they say vehicle and retrieve. And if you don't believe me, then good. You shouldn't believe that. You shouldn't believe me when I say that.
Okay, and Milk Bar also included this funny thing, because her whole thing is how people don't say vehicle. He also included footage of her repeatedly referring to a vehicle.
And Nick was particularly asking him to determine who owned a white vehicle, and everyone locally had looked at this vehicle and said, I can help you to just figure out more about this vehicle. And suddenly a president gets shot in a moving vehicle. November 22nd, 1963, JFK was shot. President JFK was shot sitting alongside his wife in a vehicle.
But people don't say vehicle, they only just say car, right? And that proves the grand conspiracy. I don't know. I find it to be crazy. I find it to be ridiculous. And I find it to be deeply harmful to be spreading this misinformation and these conspiracy theories, to be omitting such crucial facts from your audience. And there's a fundamental amount of narcissism here. She has managed to, at least to her millions of followers, make Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination first and foremost about herself and her personal political agenda. Really, there's a degree of narcissism wrapped in with the conspiracy brain here that is mind-blowing. Watch this final clip, also highlighted by Milk Bar TV.
About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright. Okay, Charlie was done. He said it explicitly, that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors.
By the way, she provides no receipts or proof that this happened. She just says it did. And of course, we have the letter he wrote to Bibi Netanyahu where he says he still loves Israel. Pretty recent before he passed, but believe her.
Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later?
So apparently also he wanted to bring her back into the fold at Turning Point USA, but she's also repeatedly claimed she never left the fold, by the way. She said, well, I just did an event with them like last year. So which is it, Candace? It does not add up. But of course, she's literally about to suggest that they killed him because he was trying to bring her back into TPUSA.
Or conveniently catch a bullet to the throat before our onstage reunion could happen.
So his death, she's just asking questions, just suggesting that he was killed by some cabal of Jewish donors, insiders at TPUSA, and then people colluding to cover it up inside the federal, state, and local governments in Utah and the Trump administration, because he was going to bring Candace back into the fold and change his position on Israel. Again, guys, extraordinary claims and extremely implausible scenarios require extraordinary evidence, but all Candace has is speculation, feelings, cherry-picked details obsessed over, out of context, and an extreme dose of narcissism and conspiracy brain. I don't know about y'all. I just find it kind of sick. She's cashing in on this. She's getting millions and millions of views. She's plugging sponsors multiple times in every one of these videos. She is getting massive attention to herself, and she's just using her dead friend to do it and spinning this web where it all traces back to her and her personal political issues. Millions of people are being convinced of this vast conspiracy by her and misled. And I just think it is really disappointing. She's been caught in clear factual errors, multiple contradictions of herself over and over again. And at some point, people need to stop trusting voices that tell you over and over again they are not trustworthy. It's a real problem when people this irresponsible with their platform and this sloppy with their investigative work are among the most listened to voices in America today. But that's Candace Owens, and that's where we're at. I find it very concerning, but that's just me. You guys let me know if you disagree. I'll hear you out in the comments. You can always disagree with me here on this channel. Let me know in the comments. And with that, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Bread versus Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk again real soon.